Hi, Dr. Cronk, and I want to give you 3 tips for basically improving your patient services, especially in the injury market. Tip number 1, become the best in your area. Don't screw around, don't be average. Be the best in your local area, and that means you got to be patient focused. That means you got to get results oriented. Remember, your end user is a patient that's injured, and that end user, under research today, has a 55% chance or greater of never fully recovering. That's what the person is walking into. That's what somebody's wife is walking into your clinic with. That's what somebody's husband is walking into your clinic with. That's what somebody's child, somebody's daughter, somebody's son. That's who's walking into your clinic, right? So the first thing you got to do is you got to be really, really patient-centered, and you got to be results-oriented. You got to look to do everything that you can to improve patient results. Number 2, you got to study the condition that you're treating. You got to know it inside and out. You got to know how to diagnose the condition, especially when you're talking about injuries, spinal injuries. You got to know how to diagnose it. You got to know what it is that you're dealing with. How do you determine the severity of these injuries? Too many doctors today in the market don't. There's too much. I could pull too much research, show you where the medical field already openly acknowledges about 90% of the time they don't actually know what's causing the problem in a spinal injury. They don't know what the underlying pathology is. How bad is the injury? And injuries are really quite simple. There's only 3 main injuries that you're dealing with a spine, and you need to be good with those 3 injuries. You need to understand them, how to work them up, and what is the best thing that you can do to actually improve that patient. And then the third thing is you got to develop a team. You got to develop a great team, and you got to make that team part of your team, part of your family, and treat them like you would want to be treated, which means you have to educate them, you have to pay them well. You have to make it so that they can stay in your practice to help you create this injury recovery environment. And so those are the 3 ways that I know of to improve the services in a spinal injury practice long term. Long term. Make it about the patients, right? Become that expert in your area. Educate yourself. Number 2, you got to educate yourself. You got to really know what you're doing with it. And then number 3, you got to develop a team. And your team is probably as important. And remember, it's not just your team. It's not, when people say, hey, develop your team, I don't mean just your team, just the people that you employ. Remember, your patients are part of your team as well. So empower them. Empower them to get results, empower them to improve their own health, and empower them to improve their ability to help you build your business. And if you do that, they will do that.